as we switch over to my favorite television show, AEW Dynamite. Jon Moxley takes on the replacement, who actually might work himself into a storyline because of it. We'll get to that in a second. Wheeler Yuta coming out with best friend members Danhausen, who I love, and Orange Cassidy. And a very competitive, very good match for Wheeler Yuta. He loses, of course. You knew he was going to, but it was a competitive match. Supposed to last time Moxley blew his doors off. And you saw Moxley surprised and almost respecting the kid at times throughout the match. Little psychology. And now we understand why it makes sense. Bryan Danielson show. I want to get your reaction to the possible formation of a faction. Just listen to the names that Bryan Danielson pitched when he said we can form a faction. Bryan Danielson comes out, and Bryan Danielson, another BMFer, comes out to another BMFer. We should work together. And what happens if we had Wheeler Yuta or Danny Garcia or Lee Moriarty with all these clowns? Literally making fun of Luchasaurus, making fun of Sammy Guevara, making fun of Orange Cassidy, making fun of Danhausen, making fun of all these grandiose baby faces. But the crowd's cheering because,
he's right.
So imagine a faction. Listen to this faction. Bryan Danielson, Jon Moxley, right there, two of the top 5 in the company. BMFers. With Lee Moriarty, who is a brilliant tactician. Same thing with Daniel Garcia. And Wheeler Yuta is kind of the high flyer, but also a great tactician as well. That faction, wow. I think he's doing it. What do you think?
I don't know if he would be adding all those names. He's just dropping names and putting them over in the promo. And honestly, Wheeler Yuta doesn't do anything for me. He just nothing for me. And I'll even go as far as to say this, like the beginnings of this match, Danhausen makes a huge appearance on the previous show, right? It was a big deal, big news. What was the saying I was seeing? Was like, all elite is very evil, which was like, part of his tagline. And I'm like, this is cool. This is like unique. So my initial note, as soon as I saw him on Wednesday night, is what the fuck is he doing with Best Friends? Is Best Friends just this way station for anybody that we don't know what to do with? All of a sudden they're a best friend and they're going to walk out with Orange Cassidy. Like, why do we have to put Danhausen with Best Friends? Danhausen was getting chance last night going for him. And all he has done is cursed 2 people. But we got to go and stand him next to Pockets, a.k.a. Orange Cassidy. Okay? It's not necessary. Let Danhausen be Danhausen without carrying Orange Cassidy's sunglasses. I'm sorry, man. It demeans Danhausen immediately. Just the way it demeaned Adam Cole, baby, by feuding with him for this entire time.
Losing to him.
And losing to him. And you know what? We didn't get a chance to even discuss this really due to the timing. The spot with Adam Cole on top of the platform where Orange Cassidy is just hugging him and Adam Cole is just like a fish out of water. Couldn't break out of the hug.
He got hit in the balls. He got hit in the balls.
He's looking over. You can go and play it. And just the visual of it was one of the worst moments of Adam Cole's career. What a bullshit spot. I'm sorry. They're destroying Adam Cole as of this moment. And then I had a chuckle since we're talking about Dynamite. And Adam Cole bows up and starts doing a promo. And he's so pissed off about losing to Orange Cassidy. But he didn't lose because look at his record, right? And he's going to show you next week. And you know what he's going to do? He's going to wrestle Evil Uno. I wanted to throw my television through the window as soon as he said that. Evil Uno. So, okay, we're going to put your attention back on the Dark Order here. Let's let Adam Cole rise, who was one of the best talents in your competition, who carried the main roster for the better part of 2 months at one point when he was leaned on, has all the ability in the world, and he's feuding against Orange Cassidy, and now he's going to go and entertain Evil Uno.
What if, hypothetically, what if he goes after Evil Uno, beats the living shit out of him, and then he calls out Hangman Adam Page? And this is what we're talking about. He said you're going to see a different Adam Cole, and he's going to let everyone know his intentions are. I believe Friday night, this Rampage tomorrow night, starts the angle with he and Hangman Adam Page for Revolution. What do you say if that's the case?
You're probably right, and I that's where I wanted to go. So let me be clear with you, right? But also let me say this: I feel like Adam Cole has been really just cut off at the knees in some aspects of his arrival into AEW. It's something I've disagreed with what they've done. And then with Hangman, who you and I have discussed Hangman at many moments, minutes, and you've done pretty much almost a documentary on the gentleman, right? And it's a guy who I respect, I'm entertained with. To me, he's money in terms of being a face and a champion. It's a legit champion. But this title run, Mr. Valli, is one of the worst world title runs I've seen. So now we're looking at a sort of a bullshit feud that we're starting to percolate to. And in my opinion, should have been so much more like momentous. And one thing I'll give Adam Page a lot of respect. I'm assuming it came from the heart almost. When he cut his promo, he mentioned two matches in 81 days, man. Like, he should have been kicking some ass along the way. And I don't know why they're giving him the mid card. And I say that, politely. It's the middle of the card. Like, he's literally not getting the main events. He's opening up and he's the mid. Like, this guy deserves to be a main eventer. And why they're not giving it to him, why Tony Khan it's something I totally disagree with, whoever is making that sort of decision, man. But yeah, I see it happening. I'm looking forward to it. I hope it turns out. But the lead up to it, I've been less than impressed and really just disappointed on both ends.
Well, they got it, what, a month before, they got 4 weeks before Revolution to turn the tide for it. I have faith that you're going to see some really good programming. I also have faith that Hangman, first of all, I think Hangman beats Page. Hangman beats Cole at Revolution, by the way. I think you're going to see Hangman have a pretty good run I'm hoping that after he beats Lance Archer, you're going to start seeing him have a little bit of a run, because it has been something that people have critiqued, not just us. That's something a lot of people, he feels like the third or fourth most important thing on the show, if that. And that includes last night. And last night only had like 6 segments because it had one long match. So still didn't feel that important. It wasn't a bad segment, but we got to get Hangman being important. 100% with you. However, I'm going to have a little bit more faith. I have a feeling, I think the Adam Cole stuff, I think you're a little hard on it, to be honest with you. But you also came from seeing him at NXT flourish and be arguably the greatest NXT champion ever. So, and I think he was the longest running NXT champion, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So, and beyond,
and beyond that NXT run, it was that little run that he had on the main roster, and he carried the weight for like Raw and SmackDown. It was great. I was like, man, this guy has all the potential. He's hanging with the top guys. And then they bring him over here, and it's disappointed me as a fan of his. And this is not like me being negative about him. It just I think there's so much more that could be done with him, and I'm disappointed with it.
Well, this is what I'll say. He's headed toward a program when Hangman Adam Page, I'm assuming. And we also know he's heading toward a monster program with Red Dragon and the Young Bucks and possibly Kenny Omega or Hangman Adam Page. So Adam Cole's got a lot of really good television to come over in 2022. I would be patient a little bit, but I'm with you. First of all, you have a disdain for Orange Cassidy as well. Let's be honest.
I'm tired of it. Tired of him. Yeah.
Yeah, it certainly hasn't helped the situation.
Oh no, it hasn't. And it's like, I'm filing him with Jurassic Express, and not even necessarily Jungle Boy, but like the idea of Jurassic Express and what's going on there. And Orange Cassidy's involved in that. And I'm disappointed as we were kind of getting back. Like Danhausen's being associated with him. I think that guy's plenty talented enough, what I've seen creatively, to be by himself or go elsewhere. He doesn't need to go and latch on to Orange Cassidy.
Well, there is a connection there with those guys from the independent scene. They've been there's a friendship there. So I think that was part of it. But I'm with you. I think right now, what is the best friends? It just seems weird. They're also part of Chaos in New Japan as well. So there's a lot of moving pieces with the best friends. I feel like until they start getting booed, they're going to keep on getting TV time because people love Orange Cassidy apparently still. I think I've lost my love for him a while ago. You have a disdain for him. And so I think a lot of part of that's the reason. So I would be a little patient for Adam Cole. I'm not ringing the bell yet like that, but I also don't have the high expectations you did. And I think I see the forest from the trees a little bit in terms of where he's headed this year. And I'm excited about it.
I got you. And you know what? I went off on a tangent there and you asked me about the Daniel Bryan Moxley thing. Love the segment, and honestly, I agreed with everything that Daniel Bryan said. All right, and basically, did I call him Daniel Bryan? Bryan Danielson, such a mark.
Jim Ross.
So basically, I Jim Ross on that one. Yeah, just totally marked out there.
Ruby Riot's out here beating up Nicolas Cage. It's Nyla Rose. I don't know a Nyla Nicolas.
So you have Moxley out there with Bryan Danielson. I agreed with everything Bryan Danielson said, and you know what? He put over a bunch of guys. Do you like the idea of those names in that faction? Listen, I look at those two, and I'm hoping Moxley finds some sort of common thread. And it's like, you know what? Yeah, let's run roughshod off of this company because there are connections to Ring of Honor, there are connections to WWE, and you know what? You mentioned those names. I'll tell you another name that I would put with them, and I would probably go very little further.
Cody.
Nope.
I don't know who.
CM Punk.
It's a lot of egos in one room.
But that's that's almost NWO-ish. Do
they have enough baby faces to do that? Like top baby faces? Because you have those two or your three big baby faces right there.
Very true.
Kenny comes back maybe.
That would be one of the baby faces that they could zero in on because they already have some heat going on there between Bryan Danielson and Omega. But yeah, I mean, you're looking at like Moriarty. I'm not sold on him just yet. I mean, I watched him in that tag match against FTR. He was in that one, right?
I think you're thinking of you're thinking of Shotty Lee Johnson or whatever his last name.
Oh, that's it. You're right. Who's the last match that Moriarty was against?
He's been on AEW Dark. The guy's a great tactician. He's kind of like he comes from the Bryan Danielson.
Okay.
Actually, even more, I would say more. He is a little bit more like Zack Sabre Jr. out of New Japan. If you're familiar with him, he's kind of more familiar with. He's similar to that kind of guy. That's the kind of wrestler he is. And he's so young and so brilliant. There was one match against him, Moriarty, and I forget who else, but against Dante Martin and Leo Rush. And you just saw this one spot of Dante Martin and Lee Moriarty, and you could just tell these two are going to fight for a world championship one day in this company. You saw them look at each other, and it was a specific moment that I think production zeroed in on. It was just like, okay, this is this high flyer. It's kind of like Zack Sabre Jr. I want to compare it to these two. It's kind of like Zack Sabre Jr. and Will Ospreay. You have really those two kind of guys. This is Will Ospreay as a babyface, not Will Ospreay now. But I
gotcha. Yeah.
He's bulked up. He's kind of taking the Kenny Omega role that when Kenny left as the kind of hybrid guy that can do a lot of crazy stuff with his body. But now he's got more of a tactician, more of a heel sense. But back in the day when it was Zack Sabre Jr. and Will Ospreay, you knew it was something special. Two young, really great professional wrestlers, and those guys have had a fantastic rivalry. So I think that's what they're kind of going with Dante and Moriarty. So I like Moriarty. I've seen him a couple of so. Check him out a little bit more. I don't think I'm not with you on CM Punk at all. I think I don't know if it's needed with Brent Danielson and also
Mox.
they take really good care of themselves. Like, well, Moxley doesn't drink.
Well,
but
before we go further, do you think Mox agrees with them and decides to link up with them, or you think this is the beginning of a feud?
No, I think you're gonna see Danielson and you're gonna see Moxley together, and you're going to see Danielson do a lot of the talking. But you're going to have two BMFers, and they're going to have a little bit of a stable, and it could be one of the most dominant stables ever. I don't know what they're going to call themselves. Maybe they're, what was it called?
Paragon.
Maybe they're the Paragon. I doubt it, but the fact remains is that that's going to be an incredible faction when they put it together, even if those two just stay together.
Dude, the crowd reacted beautifully to that last night. They felt that in there. They want that.
Yeah, and Danielson even mentioned and he played to the crowd. He's like, they might not like me, which, by the way, we love you, Danielson, just because you're a dick sometimes and we boo you. That's because you're a good heel. It's not because we don't like you. They may not like me, but they like what I'm saying. And Moxley and what you've seen from Moxley's character beforehand, this could be just a kind of them kipping up. Because don't forget, everyone thought he was turning heel before. No. They kind of maybe do a variable here, but one thing, Moxley is clearly annoyed with the goofy jerk off people in the business. He cannot stand Orange Cassidy. You saw him have a monster problem with him and almost destroyed Cassidy in his match with him. So the fact remains is it does work with Moxley's character. And there is respect between Danielson and Moxley. Moxley hasn't said fuck you to him and screw you. So I think it makes total sense. Moxley turns heel, goes to Bryan Danielson. Those guys just run game. And maybe a run as a tag team champions, which, though, will be hypocritical if everyone's all in on them being tag team champions when the biggest criticism at WWE in their tag division is that they just put singles wrestlers together. So you'll have to get some heat for that. But them two together, it's amazing the kind of work and professional wrestling that could happen. So I'm all in on that one. Completely. Yeah,
and I love the way Bryan Danielson framed it out. It was like, hey, maybe you want to go for the world title and I want to go for the TNT belt, and it's just like, or maybe we want to be tag team champs, but let's, basically leave our mark on this place. And I'm like, this has like all the makings of something that's needed, man. A really super like awesome faction. So I hope we see it. Really, I think it's the beginning of something beautiful there.
Yeah, and it's going to really just run on the goofy, stupid shit that a lot of people can't stand, which is another good segue. What did you think about why do people hate Brandy Rhodes so much? She comes out, just starts talking. She threw that stupid little line about Cleveland in there.
Immediately.
Like, and then you're wondering why they're booing you. Like, what are you doing?
I'm the heel. And you know what? And it's strange because it's like, who's the heel? Is it her? Is it Dan Lambert?
They're
like
both.
It's such a it's just like, why are we doing this? Like what's the beef? And then they're putting all over Dan Lambert, who I was laughing at actually last night. That was sort
great.
Of there's a couple. That was one of the stronger shows that he's had in a while, I felt. And but Brandy, my God, it's just so disingenuous again. And she's an extension of Cody, and it's just an easy target. Cody just needs to turn heel. Like it's writing itself. Include your wife, who wants the spotlight, and
she wants to be
into. Yeah, and you know what? And then for this to devolve into her versus Paige Van Zandt, I'm amazed. Like Paige Van Zandt's pretty legit in the MMA ring, right?
Love Paige Van Zandt.
And it's really like Brandy shouldn't necessarily be wrestling. She's not there yet. She should be a manager, a heel manager, Cody's wife, a strong influence in his life. She could pull all that off. But to be in the ring and actually, all right, we're going to have a, 10-minute match of Brandy here. Oh, my God, that's just going to suck the oxygen right out of the place.
Yeah. I mean, if she hasn't gotten it yet, I mean, she's been trying to wrestle for about a decade now. So if she hasn't gotten it yet, she's probably not going to get it. But that doesn't mean that she's not viable, like you said. I mean, she works best as Cody's valet because she does enough athletic stuff and enough shit to get heat. She's perfect to get heat. She shows up and people just start booing her. And I feel bad for her because she really does. I I feel bad for her because she really does try to be. She's a really good person outside of the wrestling thing. You know what I mean? But I loved a couple lines from Lambert. I love how he says this Brandy from the block is almost as fake as those two. And I forget what he said about about her tits, but they're as fake as those two bazongas coming out of your chest. And the only face turn anyone's going to buy iron here is the one you used to get at your old job when it was face down. Does that mean she was a prostitute? Yeah. What does that mean?
He was definitely questioning her moral behavior.
You make me feel like a good person. Like he. Oh, and it's amazing. That's how much heat she got. Where literally this dude is, as he called him, a conservative, AEW hating, sexist asshole.
And the fans are chanting, "Shut the F up" to her. And it's like, it's amazing. It's like Cody says he wants to be the face. They bring out Lambert, who's a heel with Ego Page and Scorpio. And it's like, but they bring Brandy out there, and within 30 seconds of her promo, she's calling the place Cleveland as if that's a major insult to Chicago, which again, is just like, she's just antagonizing them for hate. Yeah. And then they bring out somebody else who's hateful, and they're trying. I don't understand why they're overcomplicating any of this.
Yeah, why do you bring out Lambert there? If you're going to have her give a heat promo and you know she's going to get booed, why would you bring someone else to have to get booed with her? I don't know the philosophy there. Is it because they want to get Brandy and Cody cheered and Lambert gets more heat than anybody else? Because he clearly does it now. Brandy does.
But but if you did that, and if you wanted that, and if that was your main objective, why do you have her cut a heel promo in Chicago?
That was weird. What else do we have going on in AEW Dynamite last night that you wanted to talk? I'm glad you have your notes with you. Before we
I'm getting my notes
CM Punk MJF, I liked how they built it throughout the night, where you saw like them, getting ready, contemplating, getting you feeling like a big fight. And I like when professional wrestling actually acts like it's an actual event. Keep it a little kayfabe.
Yeah, and I did that aspect of it. I did like. The next thing that happened was Hardy and Andrade, and my note on that was awful. I've had enough of those two, and I'm a sort of an Andrade fan in terms of what he does in the ring. He's one of the better ones that I'm entertained with. However, his promos, whatever he's looking to do here with Matt Hardy, and I know they're going to make him a face, and Jeff's going to be there, and Hardy's going to be back, blah blah blah. But again. Like the Hardy family jobbers, like I have no time for them really at this point.
I think the bunny agrees with you because she always looks miserable in the back, and that's on purpose. So I think they're breaking. Yeah. And her star is rising after her performance in that street fight. So everyone knows the bunny is one of the stars in that women's division that really haven't tapped into yet.
Yeah. So then after that segment, then you had the House of Black versus Death's Triangle. What you think about that?
I thought it was a good match. I think it was just a chapter, so it wasn't the best match in the world. I thought it was okay. I didn't love the finish kind of vibe. I kind of was rooting for Pac to win, but I get it. Spraying the mist in the eyes of Penta, though, is he gonna? So I'm kind of confused with the mist. Does it turn people? Does it change people, or not everybody? It just changes Julia Hart, I guess.
Yeah, and she hasn't fully changed, and then I thought in the last promo that vignette that Pac did, he basically showed he wasn't blind anymore, right? He took the veil off his eyes, and then he comes down as if he's a blind man for this match, and then he takes the bandages as if I'm wearing them right now off, and then Malachi Black's like surprised he has the ability to see. Like, didn't they just preface this in that vignette that he just did? Like, what did I miss here? Again, you know how much I like Malachi Black. I'm not sure what I feel about this Brody King guy. I'm not that crazy impressed with him. He's got a little bit of he gives me the same feeling I get when Jake Hager's out there. Does that make sense?
Vanilla boring kind of vibe?
Sort of, yeah.
Got tattoos,
he reminds me of the tattoos is the difference maker. It's like, oh, okay, he's very patient. He's willing to sit somewhere still for a long time, which is a great attribute, But let me ask you this. On a personal level, when I see Brody King, I think of Clow. He just reminds me of him.
Yeah. Very similar frame, kind of tall, gutty.
Gutty, he says.
He's not fat. Clower's not fat at all. He's gutty. You know what I mean? He's got this tall. He's got this dad bod. He's had a dad bod since he lost. He was fat like in high school, and he lost weight, but he got in a decent shape for a while. But then he just got a beer gut. He never got rid of it. It's like a dad bod he's had since like 1999.
That's where he keeps his energy.
I haven't seen him in fucking 10 years. How the fuck do I know?
Yeah. And another quick note on this match. One thing I noticed, and I got to go back to I haven't erased it yet. Are they known as the Knights of the Black Throne or the Kings of the Black Throne?
They were announced as kings, but they were said knights on the. I think they're Knights of the Black Throne because that was what was said on TV, and I think the guy just screwed up, but I'm not sure. We'll find out next week.
Yeah, we'll have to wait. This is a real cliffhanger.
The House of Black is moving at the pace of a snail with a bad leg. They don't even have legs.
Yeah.
So the snail is actually trying to pull someone's bad leg behind it. That's why it's going so slow.
Yeah. I'm glad that was explained.
Anything for you?
Then we had the legendary Adam Cole promo after that. And as you said, he's going to probably springboard into the feud with Hangman Page.
Absolutely, 100%.
And then we get to the highlight of the night. Who could forget this moment in wrestling history? We had Ruby Soho versus Diala Rose, and we saw the lead singer from Rancid. He was there.
I said it was the lead singer. It was Lars Sullivan, lead singer of Anthrax, is what I said on HSCPWrestling.com, which you guys can check out for news stories every day.
Wow, lead singer of Anthrax.
I didn't think the match was all that bad. I wasn't into it that much. Don't get me wrong, but I didn't think it was. I thought everyone killed Ruby for that botch. It wasn't a botch. It was meant to look like that because that's what she hit last time. It was a recall from a previous spot that they did when they wrestled earlier, and this time she missed it. So it wasn't a botch. It was. I mean, it didn't look good because it looked like a botch, but it was intentionally missed. She wasn't supposed to hit that big botch that she hit.
It's sort of sad. She starting to become Ruby Jabbo. She's now putting over the Brandy, the Brittany, the Britt Bakers of the world, the Jade Cargills, and now Nyla Roses. I honestly, I've never been a fan, so I'm not really emotionally invested, but I don't like when she's out there.
She had a nice debut, and she's been downhill since.
Yeah, she has that song when she comes out. That's what she's got going for her.
Can we move on?
Yeah,
move on from Ruby Soho.
And then hey, this was another great moment in wrestling history. The Jungle Boy backstage interview and vignette with badass Billy Gunn and his sons. Ass Boys.
The Ass Boys.
I mean, honestly, the Ass Boys, as Danhausen would refer to them, right? I've seen a lot of brutality. I saw the Rock and Mick Foley doing the I Quit match, and then right after that, I'll never forget the time that they threw Jungle Boy in the snow. I mean, it was devastating.
It was more humility, I guess. Humiliating.
I guess. I mean, I remember when Jungle Boy threw his jacket at him.
It's just a little thing for their little feud that they're gonna. I think they have them to blow off on Rampage or next week. I think they're gonna be wrestling soon. So whenever they wrestle, it'll be done with. It's just somebody to get the. It's interesting. There's like 4 or 5 amazing tag teams that aren't even touching the tag title scene right now.
There you go.
And it's a little.
And then we have a snow fight.
And that's the thing. I mean, you got Jurassic Express and the Millennial Cowboy. I mean, these aren't the biggest stars in the company right now, and they're being booked as such. I will say that, but hey, they're going to get their pay-per-view match in Revolution. I mean, that's most tag teams don't have big tag defenses in between title defense. They have maybe one. So they just won the tag titles a couple weeks ago. I'm going to have a little more patience, but I hate Jurassic. I don't really like Jurassic Express all that much, and I certainly don't like the Ass Boys. I do like Austin Gunn, but he's the only one I like out of the group. And I never liked Billy Gunn. So, yeah, I mean, it is what it is. If you like those characters, though, it was a great spot. That's fine. I don't.
Yeah, I know. And I'm with you, man. So after that work of art, we had the Adam Page promo, right? And we sort of touched on this already. And what I liked about it seemed to be a good amount of truth behind his words here. You could feel the sting. You could feel the frustration. And you know what? It sort of needed to be said. He should, I don't know, man. It's like, I know he's not going to do it, but it's almost like he should call out Tony Khan or the other EVPs and be like, what's going on here? Like, put him on blast, man. This guy deserves better. I mean, really. He's been
in the company since September. He's going to headline a pay-per-view in March. I mean, come on, have some patience, man. Come on.
Are you talking about Adam Page?
Cole.
No.
Oh, you're talking about Adam Page. Oh, yeah, dude. No, you're right. Yeah, My bad, dude. I'm sorry. My bad.
Yeah, Hangman.
Oh, yeah, I get those two mixed up with the Adams.
And again,
you're 100% right. Yeah, 100% right.
Yeah. So then you have Lambert and Jake Roberts come out. And did you like Jake Roberts' little boy comment? It's like,
oh my God. I can't with Jake Roberts. He's like, you smell the fear? You smell that fear? Dan Lambert's like, Jesus Christ, you're a legend?
Like, why do we need both of them?
Why? I think there should be a turning on Jake and put Jake with somebody else. Put Jake with Abaddon. Put Jake with a mid-carder. Not that Lance Archer's not a mid-carder per se, but he's upper echelon mid-carder. It's going to be the third or fourth title match he has. He also feuded and beat Jon Moxley on AEW Dynamite not too long ago. So Lance Archer's the real deal here, and he's been put over as such. So I don't think I've been saying Jake Roberts needs to be off of Lance Archer for years, literally years.
Yeah, I agree.
So it is what it is, but they're getting there. Lance Archer doesn't have that many years left in him anyway. So
yeah, that's why he should cut bait immediately.
He liked the tweet when I said it one time, and he liked the tweet.
And you can't blame the guy.
Did I know that Eva Marie blocked me, by the way?
Eva Marie did?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what I said about her. I'm sure it had something to do with her being a terrible professional wrestler.
I mean, you're speaking the truth there.
Or I would have blocked her anyway.
You should have blocked her before she blocked you, you know.
That's what I did with Eric Bischoff. I totally blocked Eric Bischoff.
Yeah. He doesn't need to see what you're up to.
He has a burner account.
All right, so then... And from there, you got the Jericho promo, which you discussed a little bit earlier.
Aha.
Enough, right?
Enough! Thank you, Michael Corleone.
Love the Godfather reference. But yeah, man, it's like just I can't wait till next week, and I hope it blows up.
I hope he gets his ass kicked. And he turns heel, and then everyone just walks. I think what's going to happen is what could happen, honestly, he could just start going off on everybody, and everyone just walks out of the ring. But I have a feeling Jake Hager and another tag team are going to take out PNP and Sammy Guevara.
Interesting.
Or Sammy just walks out and leaves with PNP. And then Hager, Jericho, and then another tag team comes in. I think a tag team could come in and do some damage. I pray it's not the Briscoes, because the Briscoes are coming. And they keep on talking that shit, boy. Talking that shit on that FTR, you know what I mean?
Why haven't they not been there yet?
I guess patience, man. I don't know, because FTR is kind of whatever right now. They're kind of dangling. But they are cutting promos and interacting on the internet together. And as I said before, Ring of Honor just announced that they inducted the Briscoes into the Ring of Honor Hall of Fame. And they said thank you. But one guy said thank you. The other guy came on and just talked shit on Dax Harwood. Yo, we try to be a funny boy. That Dax Harwood trying to be a funny boy, huh? And yeah, we're going to see Briscoes and FTR very soon, and probably maybe even by Revolution. I'm hoping, but we'll see.
Do you think you'll see them on AEW television?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Why? Is there some rumors?
But I'm thinking this is taking too long, and it has me wondering if they're not going to actually bring them on, and they're going to go wrestle somewhere else, like one of these other companies.
Well, FTR showed up at the Ring of Honor's final battle,
right,
and interacted with them. I'm telling, it's going to happen. I don't think Tony Khan's going to let them have doing it in another company. I really don't. And the Briscoes, look, are one of the best tag teams. They have a long history with the Bucks. The Briscoes are just going to make this. And again, now you're talking about FTR. You're talking about the Lucha Brothers. You're talking about the Briscoes eventually. You're talking about Red Dragon. You know, those are the four off the top of my head. You're talking about, and there's so many other great tag teams that are in there. But those four right there, those are all the tag teams that should be fighting for the tag team championships. And meanwhile, now we have the Jurassic Express and feuding with a bunch of real mid-carders of that division, while the other members of that division, Pride and Powerful, they're even an elite tag team. That would be 5. So it's incredible, the talent that tag teams in this division, and yet your tag team champions are Jurassic Express. It is ironic. But the Bucks, your last 3 tag champs before them were FTR, Bucks, and Lucha Brothers. So, you know, I think it's good to get some other people in there because everyone knows how good the other teams are. Let Jurassic Express maybe get that upper echelon. We get Jungle Boy a title. I just hope it's not a long run. I won't let them lose this title quick because I'm tired of Luchasaurus just going, ah!
And he gets a pop.
Well, you know what? They booked him differently because earlier on in AEW, he was popular then too, but they tried having him do too much. And he's really not that great of a wrestler. Still very green in terms of
not at all
how smooth he is. So now they just let him. Less is more with Luchasaurus. They pick their spots with him, and at the end of the day, he gets the pops because he's saving only the times he comes in there. He's doing some really good damage, or he's destroying people's arms. That was so. Hey, look, we can't do anything about Jurassic Express. They're popular too. That's the fucked up part. They're popular.
It kills me.
Yeah, it's not like we're in the majority here. Like, I don't know why they're doing this. Everyone hates Jurassic Express. No, people love Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. So we're the 2 old guys. We're the 2 old guys from the Muppets right now in the balcony. Ooh, tag team looks like a shit team to me. I don't think they ever said that.
Right.
The one pretends he's a dinosaur.
I'm just grateful that Marco Stunton's no longer out there.
Yeah, Kristen Cage is a little bit of an upgrade.
A little bit.
So Jericho does his thing. And again, I just think Jericho is so egocentric. And he said this on his podcast more than one occasion. He said he could get anything over. And I think he started believing his own bullshit. He thought he could get GFY over. That failed. He stopped because he hasn't said it at all the last 2 weeks. So that didn't get over. And honestly, GFY, if anyone looks it up, it's good for you. Everyone knows that. It doesn't really mean anything. Good for you. Jericho is now going to try to get over as him being an influencer. Is that going to be the new thing?
The influencer.
Oh, God. He should be the head of WWE Creative with that bullshit. He really should be. The Painmaker's not that great either, by the way. I heard a promo on for his podcast talking about the Painmaker. Dude, it was a play on words when he wrestled the Rainmaker Okada. Stop acting like it was his whole thing, bud. The Painmaker. What? You just put makeup on. You're the same exact wrestler.
Yeah, he did put makeup on, and don't forget it.
I wear spikes. Ooh. What? There's no difference. He's a little more edgy. So he's really angry, Chris Jericho. That's what the Painmaker is. Okay, yeah. I get it. I don't know. Chris Jericho, all the respect in the world for what he's done, but right now he's really been striking out the last year. Let's say it.
I mean, as a rock star as he is, as the lead singer of Fozzy, he should know that it's better to burn out than fade away.
You can't hear that on Spotify anymore. But you can hear High Spots and Cheap Pops right here on Spotify. Please follow us on Spotify. We love you guys. Next, we have the main event. Am I right?
Yeah, and you know what? You texted me. You referred to it as like Dynamite as being amazing or brilliant. Up until what we just discussed, I wouldn't necessarily label the show as that. However, the last 45 minutes, I would definitely label that show as that. It was a great professional wrestling match. And, you know, I'll let you take it over and just pontificate as to what you saw there. But, you know, just leading into this, I was very positive on it. I enjoyed the match a lot. It was good to witness such a wrestling match on TBS once again.
Absolutely. It harkened you back to maybe some of those matches with Steamboat Flair back on Clash of Champions, or Steamboat, even Terry Funk. I'm sorry, Ric Flair, Terry Funk. And it was great. I mean, everything that they needed to do was set out perfectly. MJF, again, at 26 years of age, I think it was 25, going to be 26 shortly. He's just so far ahead of his time in how he gets pro wrestling. He gets all the intricacies and everything. And it was just brilliantly told. It was a great story. Classic old school wrestling, working on a leg, a little throwback to the Pepsi plunge with CM Punk after MJF started biting him, and then CM Punk bites him back. It was just really just this incredible just story being told in terms of MJF had a plan to cheat. He gets a false finish, what I thought was great. The only problem is I look at the clock. I'm like, wait a minute, it's 9:45. There's no way this is the end of the match.
Yeah.
That was the only thing. I was like, oh, I don't know. But he gets booed. The crowd's losing their shit. He gets booed. And instead of having, and I thought this was going to happen, we see all the time, an official comes out, wait a minute, we're going to restart this match because I didn't like that. You know, we see that with Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville all the time. And I was hoping we were going to get that with Tony Khan with the headphones on. No, that's bullcrap. You can't do that. No, MJF. No, it's not cool, man. But we didn't get that. It was a beautiful play where he raised his hand in victory, and MJF was just so excited about it. He forgot about the thing in his wrist, and he got caught. It was so much better than your typical, well, I saw that in the back, and I'm demanding that we restart this match right now. Like the big pop, like right now. Ooh, right now? You're
not next week?
Go back and do intros again?
Yeah, exactly.
And that match is going to continue. Right. Like, oh, shit. What else was going to happen? So they do the false finish, and then MJF tries to do it again, a low blow, foot on the rope, another just these classic heel maneuvers. And we see this moment where CM Punk looks like he has control of the match, goes outside, Wardlow comes down, initially seemingly to protect MJF. Then he steps aside, almost like a show, like, okay, you can go after him, I don't care. And then we didn't see when MJF did it, but he gets back in the ring, and he has the Dynamite Diamond ring. And as he's beaten so many before, including Darby Allin, just the perfect heat maneuver. Boom! Knocks out CM Punk with the Dynamite Diamond ring, and that so just deliberate 3 count. Like the 3 count was just a little slower than the rest of them, just to add the anticipation to the match. Just the details in this match. Chef's kiss.
The ref in that match did a really great job.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, of course, the beautiful part of the story is at the end of the match, they show the camera angle of Wardlow giving the ring to MJF. So Wardlow, disappointed in it with himself, still angry, still clearly not happy with the situation, but Wardlow's still heel, still doing the job for MJF. And MJF in Chicago beats CM Punk because he's better than you and you know it. But Vladi Dadi, did you catch the emotion of MJF crying and whispering something to CM Punk shortly after the win?
I missed that, actually.
If you go back and you watch it, after the match, the pin, MJF looks really tired and what have you. They flash back. I think they go to a different camera angle. What have they come back? See, and MJF has, instead of his head facing toward the camera, his head is buried into CM Punk's ear. And he was shaking like this. I don't know if he was crying or what have you. We're never going to know what he really said. But there was some real genuine emotion from MJF, who looked at CM Punk as a hero, probably still does in real life. Yeah. And a very emotional you actually saw a very emotional MJF for a split second there. And then he got up and you saw it and he celebrated. And then he was the dick MJF that we all know and love. But it might have been a real genuine moment between MJF and CM Punk there because, hey, look, CM Punk didn't necessarily have to do that. And it was the biggest win.
In Chicago.
Yeah. And it was the biggest win in this 25-year-old's life.
Yeah, and CM Punk totally put this guy over. It's going to add to his legacy. And really what I like too, it adds to the story. I even looked at certain details. One of the things I picked up online today was that I'm sure you noticed that MJF had like pinstripe like Yankee gear on.
Yeah. Evidently
that's a callback to when CM Punk wore similar gear when he fought John Cena.
I remember that because CM Punk had a famous promo saying that Cena became everything he despises.
Yep.
Just like the Red Sox in Boston, because they were in Boston at the time. And he said, you've become everything that you hate, just like the Boston Red Sox. You've become everything you despise. You've become the New York Yankees. And that was what set Cena off. You can't say that about John Cena. And then they feuded. So MJF is such a friggin' student of the game.
Yeah.
It's incredible to me how good he is at 25 years old. It's just absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
Maybe 20. I think
he's in line to be he's in line to be he's going to be whispered as and eventually realized to be probably the greatest wrestler of his time. It's really something special that we're witnessing here. He puts on excellent matches. That match between he and CM Punk was a throwback, a clinic, just psychologically speaking. We didn't have 1,000 super kicks. We didn't have trampoline spots, all that sort of stuff. This was a professional wrestling match. And you know what? They're getting Wardlow involved. And I hope they're foreshadowing a little bit. I almost see CM Punk and Wardlow maybe interacting a little bit further. CM Punk has every right to go and call out Wardlow and be like, you're nothing. You're not, you can say something along the facts like, you're not the war dog. You're his lap dog. Something along those lines.
Oh, I like that. He has
every right to say it.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah,
I think that's exactly what he's going to do. I think CM Punk is going to call out Wardlow. That is brilliant. Vladi Dadi once again writing the script before we even see it. I think it's a great idea. And that's, I think, the way to do about it, because you need the evolution. You need to give Wardlow that push to do the right thing. And CM Punk's going to be like, what's going on with you? And it's going to be some more great television because this story's not going away. If anyone thought this was a blow-off, you're insane. Yeah. This was a mere final
chapter,
first act. Maybe it was the end of the first act, so to speak, because they've been telling.
That's probably the best way to say it. And now we're about to go into the second. We're about to go into the second act, and that's going to involve the evolution of Wardlow because they've flirted with it. There's already sort of friction there between Wardlow and MJF and Sean Spears. And CM Punk might put him over as Wardlow and say, listen, instead of being his lapdog, you could be the champion of this place. Do you see how these people react when you go and do your Powerbomb Symphony? Hell, CM Punk had that and had to experience 8 power bombs, right?
8.
So there you go. 8 power bombs that he had to take, and he had to go and he pretty much did he schoolboy him to win that match, right?
It was a schoolboy. It was a inside cradle, small package, whatever.
Okay, yeah. So an inside cradle goes and wins it. Has to win it that way, and the only reason CM Punk could say I lost to you was because MJF held you back and was greedy about having you inflict punishment on me. You could have beat me before he beat me. And let him think about that. I hope they go that route, man. This second act could be great, and it's going to be great for Wardlow. This is where we're going to start to see Wardlow become one of the major players of this company, and he has it. That guy is talented, and you've said that he can cut a promo. I believe you. I sense nothing but positivity so far about that, like what I've seen already. I'm looking and interested to see him evolve into a better speaker and really get his sort of taglines over, or whatever the case might be, and just connect with the crowd even further. This guy has a lot of potential.
I'm excited about it, and I really do believe this is just, again, the first act. We're going to continue it, and why not? I mean, it's been arguable. I mean, honestly, this storyline and the execution and everything happening, this has exceeded expectation. Any expectation you had to see in Punk and MJF, this feud has already exceeded all your expectations. And I know a lot of people, look, Dynamite didn't do a million people last night for the first time in a couple weeks. And I think people are going to be like, aha, that's what, I mean, hey, yeah, that might have something to do with it, that you had a 45-minute main event match. But guess what? That's what AEW is. And good professional wrestling, hey, look, it's going to get over eventually, but people have got to know. People got to, hey, did you hear about this match? Did you hear about that match? Eventually, things are going to catch on. I'm very much of the belief, like Bryan Danielson, I think people will watch excellent professional wrestling. And they are doing excellent professional wrestling right now. So that's
segments of it for sure. I'll say that segments of it for sure. Absolutely. Yeah. It's not every segment. I'm not up on it, but
this is the thing. Am I going to let Ruby Soho ruin my night? Am I going to let Jurassic Express ruin my night? Am I even going to let The Miz ruin my night? I mean, over in WWE.
But you do. You get annoyed with them, right? You get annoyed with The Miz and Edge, right? And, you know, in hell, Edge even blocked you now because you referred to him as a mid-carder, even though it was just one feud. It annoyed you.
I'll tell you what, but I did say that mixed tag match was actually pretty good in the Royal Rumble. If you listen to my Royal Rumble review, I actually put that over. It actually was an entertaining match. I swear to God. Maurice came out looking like Bad Bunny.
Interesting.
Doing Hurricanranas, DDTs. She looked good. Maurice carried herself.
You know what? That's like a real positive thing to hear about that, because I didn't really have any sort of faith in that match.
It was what it was. The beginning was stupid. It was all bells and whistles and sports entertaining, but it wound up being a pretty entertaining match. It was what it was. Of course, my expectations were bad, but anyways, one other thing that I had to say about Punk and MJF, there was just so many beautiful parts of this and what they have been going with since the beginning, just with no holds barred. And again, just the great ending, MJF emotional, even though he didn't show it out loud, didn't show it. I just thought it was great beginning. And I think now, starting next week, you're going to see the programming of AEW strictly geared toward Revolution. We're going to be full blown toward Revolution starting next week. We might have to see maybe Adam Cole beats up Paige after the Lance Archer match, maybe something like that.
Yeah.
But we're going to start seeing all the matches really come together. Maybe we'll start seeing the Red Dragon Young Bucks feud start coming together. We're going to start seeing a lot of the storylines that maybe a little bit going a little wonky, a little slow, like the House of Black. Maybe we'll start seeing some things really develop, because don't forget, I think it was last year on April and May, right around Double or Nothing, they were really stalling and what have you. And we were really unhappy with some things that were going on. And then boom, it exploded. And it's been the best professional wrestling company that's been in 20 years, the last 6 months, 7 months. So, you know, it's exciting times for AEW, and it's going to continue to be exciting times. And look, Keith Lee might be on the horizon. Bray Wyatt might be on the horizon. Shit. There's so many.
They say something to consider with Keith Lee. I mean, they're in Texas. They're in Atlantic City next week, actually. I was thinking about the Texas Death Match. I'm sorry. But yeah, I mean, I could see Keith Lee or Karrion Kross showing up there, honestly.
I don't think they're going to sign Karrion Kross, do you?
I wouldn't be surprised.
I don't know about that one.
Okay.
I don't know. What are you going to do with him?
I don't know. He adds size to the show, and I'd rather see him than some others that we've already mentioned.
Not Keith Lee, though. They're under contract, though.
No.
All right. So what else we got going on professional wrestling?
They're 90 days into this week.
I know. Apparently Shane's is 30. I think Shane's is 30 days, if I'm not mistaken. Samoa Joe's and William Regal's are both up this weekend coming up.
Wow.
So there's that. I don't know. I guess was it 30 days? Has it been 30 days since they got released already?
It's got to be.
Jesus Christ. Time is flying in the world of professional wrestling and WWE firings. So, yeah, Shane, 30 days. So, yeah, by Revolution, Shane could be in AEW by Revolution. Here come the money. I have a question for you, by the way. What are the chances Shane McMahon and Triple H? I heard Triple H and Shane McMahon don't really get along all that well either. Because there's always the possibility, will they have the money? Will they be able to start their own professional wrestling company?
I think Triple H might be able to get enough backers, maybe especially even with Stephanie, where he might be able to pull off having a promotion. And honestly, if there's a tragic figure in any of this, what's going on with WWE, I really think it's Triple H.
Oh my God! Yeah.
I mean, I empathize with this guy, man, and it's and is he perfect? By no means, but man. He was actually trying to steer that company to a good place, and then Vince and his yes men just said, nah, we're going to go and destroy it.
Well, again, they are only concerned about the bottom dollar. They made $1 billion last year in profit. They talked about it at their quarterly meeting today. WWE made a lot of money again. So they're doing everything right in the stockholders' eyes, and that's what it's been about ever since they went public. That's why the product hasn't been consistently good since it went public. It's not a coincidence. And again, it's pop music for professional wrestling. It is overproduced. Let's get people that we can tell them exactly what to say, how to look, how to dance, everything. And just as long as they're athletic and they look good, that's all we need because we can do the rest. And that's not how you make a great professional wrestling company. It never was. And for every Kurt Angle, you're going to push Lars Sullivan around like Ronda Rousey. She's going to get pushed. She fills right into that. All these young kids they're hiring out of college who are just signing for the money. They don't give a shit about pro wrestling. You're not going to turn them into great pro wrestlers. You're going to turn them into average, run-of-the-mill, vanilla sports entertainers, and that's what you are now focusing on. Congratulations, WWE.
All right. I have a trivia question for you.
Ooh, I love trivia questions. Here on High Spots and Cheap Pops. HSCPWrestling.com. Check it out.
Roman Reigns, our tribal chief, hasn't been pinned in 2 years. Can you name the wrestler that pinned him 2 years ago?
I want to say Baron Corbin.
Bingo. How is that even possible?
It's the same fucking possibility when no one has kicked out of the end of days. Baron Corbin is a legend.
Vince, I'm just amazed. When I saw that question and that answer, one, I couldn't wait to go and ask you. And then number two, I almost had to pick myself up off the floor. Couldn't believe it.
Well, I just remember the dog food incident. And then I remember him. Yep. And then I remember COVID happening. And then he was in the midst of a run of where he was going for the title. So there was a blow off where he won. They did the dog food thing to Corbin. But before that, Corbin did the dog food thing. And I think he got a win on Roman. So that's why I went there. That was it. Yeah, that's why I thought about that. I don't know how I remembered that, but there you go. Just Baron Corbin once again showing you he's bulletproof. If they put their future on people like Baron Corbin, the WWE is going to fail eventually. Eventually, it's going to fail. Their crowd is not getting younger. And what's going to happen when Roman heads to Hollywood and Brock Lesnar's not around? You have to start building more stars. And Seth Rollins actually, I don't think he's going to be going anywhere, but Seth Rollins even teased he might think about it because he's a free agent in 2023, I believe, or 2024. So,
okay.
The bidding war at 24 might not be MJF. It might be for Seth Rollins. But Seth Rollins, obviously Seth Rollins loves what he's doing right now. So, and his wife's there. So, but But yeah, there's so many other things going on in professional wrestling this week. We're getting geared up for a pretty important Rampage tomorrow night. Tag team championships on the line. Adam Cole is going to make his intentions clear. A couple other things. And again, we're starting to get up, ready for Revolution, getting ready for WrestleMania. We're going to have 2 pay-per-views in about a month of each other. We have the Elimination Chamber in Saudi Arabia coming up. So professional wrestling continues to pop, starting to percolate, starting to pop. And things are going great. And I'm excited about it. Again, check us hscpwrestling.com. You can follow me on Twitter at HSCP Wrestling. Of course, that's Silicon City Valley for High Spots and Cheap Pops. Vladi Dadi, what do you got for us? We have a new Instagram.
We do. I mean, it's booming. We're getting follows left and right, I see.
Did we? You're in charge of Instagram.
Yeah. It's really been insane. I mean, we're having like people like Alexa Bliss follow us, and Sasha Banks and Baron Corbin. He's not holding any grudges. He's been following us. We've been, exchanging some thoughts there. It's been great.
I'm blocked by a lot of professional wrestlers.
I'm blocked by none.
Well, you're not on Twitter.
That's true. That's a good point.
I got 2,100 followers for us. High Spots and Cheap Pops are running with 2,100 followers, and we keep on going to the moon, just like Cardano was supposed to.
Oofa.
Anyway, so thank you so much for listening to our long-form podcast. We get together once a week. We shoot the poop about professional wrestling, but you can follow us on our YouTube page, High Spots and Cheap Pops. We do reviews of every single television show. We're going to get more content out as much as possible. We're going to continue to grow, baby. HSCPwrestling.com. We have news reports all the time. We got reviews all the time. We have the Impaler's Point all the time. We got a lot of things percolating. We are building. It's going to take a long time to build this empire, but it is definitely happening, and we are excited about it. Impaler, what else do you have for us on this wonderful Thursday evening?
One of the funniest lines I saw was from MJF, and I think it came out today, and he said the reason they call it the Second City is because he beat him twice.
Beat that bum twice, yes.
It was great.
Did you see the sign for Did you see the sign for MJF when he came out? Is that MJF is the human version of 2K20. It's a really shitty professional wrestling game, apparently. Which happens to be the one that I bought, and I was like, this game sucks. I thought this was supposed to be good. And then I found out it was a really bad game. I was like, oh, okay. So anyways.
That one hit home for you.
All right, everyone, check us out again, hscpwrestling.com. High Spots and Cheap Pops. Higher on Spotify. Also on YouTube. Check us out. Hit the subscribe button if you can. And for Vladi Dadi, this is Silicon City Valley. Thank you so much for listening to High Spots and Cheap Pops. We will check you guys out later here on the High Spots and Cheap Pops podcast.